Red Wings tonight in Pittsburgh. It's the latest do-or-die game of the Red Wings season, but when you're fighting for a playoff berth, that's what it is. And, you know, it's something where D-Mac actually, I feel like a proud father sometimes, like when D-Mac sends these things to me. D-Mac sent me an analytical chart. Darren McCarty sent me an analytical chart of the game tonight against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Ben, you have that, right?
I do.
Check this out, everybody. So here's the story. If the Red Wings beat the Penguins in regulation, a 44% chance of making the playoffs. If they lose to the Penguins in regulation, a 7.3%. If they beat the Penguins in overtime, a 39% chance of making the playoffs. If they lose to the Penguins in overtime, a 17% chance of making the playoffs. You know what I take away from all that, D-Mac? Is this. This is it. This is the last stop on the playoff highway. You have to win. If you lose, this is it, D-Mac. Well, this is a playoff game tonight. This is a Game 7 playoff game tonight.
The thing that stood out to me, like what you said, that the only thing that I didn't know was that if you get an overtime, if you get a point tonight and lose an overtime or shootout, it's not over, right? The percentage of 44% with the regulation win versus 38%, right, with a point in overtime, right? It puts the imperativeness of going on, like more. Not saying, but that is sort of like the fallback. But bottom line, hey, you got to win. You got to win these 4 games. That's how you got to be looking at it. And it starts tonight. Doesn't get any easier in Toronto and stuff like this. So you got big games. But again, you've played big games earlier in the season. Got to bounce back from the disappointment of the Washington game the other night. But you still have task in hand. So you're right there. It tells you that. So I'd be more interested, like, after this is you know, you got to win this game first and then you focus in. But like I said, I don't know. Just with the numbers and everything else, it's just more of like Batman hockey.
Yeah, no, you're right. There is that degree. I kind of equate, like, if you want to feel, like in golf, they say you got to show me the feels. How does it feel? Give me the feel and I can pull off the drill. All right, to give you the comp feel, here's how it is right now. I feel as though the Red Wings are down 2-0 in the series. And this is game 3.
Oh, must win.
And they're down 2-0.
Yep.
If you lose, you're still alive. But you ain't really alive.
No one comes back from 3-0, just like 3 times in history. And
yeah.
Yes, that's a great analogy. And here's the thing: if you wanted even better analogy, is that you're down 2, and you're going on the road. You lost the 2 at home, so it reminds me of the 0-2 Cup. We lost first 2 to Vancouver, had to go in there and win. You know, the imperatives.
That goal from center ice changed it changed everything.
Well, that's why you got it. You're always waiting for that moment. So you see how that changed things. So there could be that moment tonight, or taking care of this game, or going out and doing that they rally around, right? They rally around. So I said yesterday, Neil, after you left and sticking it, I looked around the room and I asked, you know, what is your confidence in them winning tonight also too? But I said, can we not just wait till next week? Let's just wait till next week before we start putting people to the guillotine and saying whose blame is it? And because everybody seems that they have to have, like, why does somebody have to be sacrificed? I mean, it could not just be, can we just not look back and say, okay, this needs to improve? Because there's some glaring things that I can address right now. But what does it do with 4 games left, you know, questioning a lot of guys that are in the lineup right now? There's questions to be answered, but I think that's for next week if we can wait till then. Because if they get it done, then all those questions are sort of minimized.
Answered to some degree too. And certainly we do, when the season's over, we'll do the financial breakdown like we do when every team is officially done for the season. We'll take a look to next year and all that kind of stuff. So we will get into it, no doubt.
And for all of you that are so angst on, why, you know, they choked and they fell, and why is this or why is that? Well, we'll look at it, because people, you know, you hear certain things. You mentioned it. Flannel's questioning Yzerman. Other people are questioning Lalonde. Is it players in the lineup? Is it different things like that? We will break it down, just along with the financials, and answer, because there are questions that need to be answered. But like you just said, Neil, those can be answered in these next 4 games.
Gromit 0237, OJ says if the Red Wings don't win tonight, he will cut them out of the playoff race, which is probably true. Probably true.
Mike G asked D-Mac, I keep reading that Stevie may part with Lalonde. I don't know how many times you can go back and say it. What did I say? Derek Lalonde is the coach of this team as long as Steve Yzerman thinks he is the best coach for this team. Until then, he'll move on. And if these guys have elevated enough and he's not the right guy, then do you not think for a second everybody's at stake? Everybody's, everybody can be moved, traded, cut, whatever like this if it's not in Stevie's plan moving forward. So, yes, again, we'll address it next week. Not the time to address it, guys. Let's just wait and see how it plays out.
Yeah.
And again, checking the stats because I just want to get up to speed on all of this. And really the biggest thing for the Red Wings is obviously the win, but the loss for the Penguins. Like that's where it sits as far as that goes. They are 1 point behind the Capitals in the wild card race, tied with Pittsburgh, 1 point ahead of Philadelphia. The Washington Capitals, as we look at what they have going on. And this is really, you know what, to be honest, like everybody that jumped off the cliff after the Capitals game, and I get it, right, because of the emotion, and I compared that Capitals game to the Thanksgiving Day game for the Lions, where everybody thought that they were promised this. And when they didn't get it, they kind of threw their hands up in the air and says, wait a minute, I was promised this. It's just for when you start looking at it again, this is the true game. This is the true, you lose this and it is over. Like there are no doubts about it. I mean, technically you're still alive by percentage chances, but if you're being real, it's over. Tonight, Washington will be at Buffalo. They're home against Tampa. They're home against Boston, and they're at Philadelphia. So it's not like they got an easy run. It's not like they hadn't lost 6 in a row before that as well. They had won 6 of 7 before that, 6 losses in a row. So they're really volatile. There's no way that they're going through that undefeated. No chance that they're doing that. So we'll keep an eye on it. And again, it's just, and look, like I do want to get into the game and what I want to see tonight. And we can talk about puck luck, D-Mac, and all that kind of stuff. And Dylan Larkin, after the game said, we played well, we just couldn't put the puck in the net. And that happens in a game. It does. However, it cannot happen twice. Can't period, end of story. Can't happen
twice. And ironically, who is it that you're facing tonight?
Old Ned. I just need Ned. I just need Ned to go full Ned tonight.
And there you go. So there is some confidence when you're coming off. So let's take a little bit before we go to break behind the scenes. When you're coming off a game like that where you know that you had opportunity and you're feeling, the confident, and I said, much more perimeters, so look for more traffic at the net. But they did what I asked them to do, and that's getting traffic, getting pucks at the net and stuff like this. If they have 43 shots on net tonight, they win. Bottom line. And you're not going to you're sitting in the locker room, and yes, you might say this, you're playing against your former goalie that you know that you've practiced, and he is your buddy, and you love the guy. You're going to play golf with him all summer. So what is the most important thing? You guys all know this. You're competitive. You want to have those bragging rights when you're standing on the tee and remind them that, hey, remember the one I buried over your shoulder there and, down the stretch? That stuff happens. So there's bragging rights when you're playing your buddies that you want, in this game. And I like the fact that we're playing against a guy that we know, a former guy that I've shot pucks at in practice or whatever. I know I need to get a shot. I played against Manny Legacy for so long. When I went to Calgary, I knew that if I had an opportunity on a wraparound that I could get it to the net, and I end up doing it and scoring. So there are these little things, and hopefully it comes to fruition tonight for the Wings.
No, absolutely. And, we can talk about the game itself, as we said, which we'll get into coming up a little bit in the next segment. And because it is, like, it's time now. And I wasn't one, I was disappointed, obviously. I didn't jump off the cliff, though, like most of you guys did. Out there, but tonight they are at the cliff. Make no mistake about that. They are at the cliff tonight, and you got to find a way.
Yep. Bleeper, get off the pot.
That's it, man.
The only way out is through, baby.
I don't want to hear about puck luck. I don't want to hear about we got 43 shots. Tonight is the line. Don't want to hear it. There's only one acceptable result. And, I mean, at the same time, if they don't get it done tonight, I'm not saying nuke the franchise like some of you are going to say, or nuke Steve Yzerman. That's where I'll get off the highway while you guys keep going. I will get off the highway before we do that.